I was 19 years old turning up at basic training, and I still had that like element of that fat shy kid that was like chasing me around. So like when I turned up, I remember turning up at the train station, and you all meet in the same location, and like the screws or the corporals come and take you up to the camp. And I remember looking around at the other lads and just thinking, like there's some big lads, but everyone looks stronger and fitter than you.
And I remember standing on the square with 70 other recruits, and I was one of the youngest and definitely the skinniest, or one of the skinniest. There's two of us that are quite skinny, and I remember looking down the line and it was blokes with big chests, hairy chests, tattoos, moustache, and I was like, wow. And I was a skinny little kid thinking, I'm out my depth. There's no way I'm going to be able to compete with these people.
You just have this perception of them, and they're probably, looking back now, they're doing exactly the same. They're looking at you going like, fuck, like these guys are stronger, fitter than me. I think it's just something that humans have got ingrained into them.
I was already starting to, mentally lose it and thinking, I ain't going to do it. Then I just thought, I'm here. I'm not going back to that lifestyle. I've got to make this work. And as the weeks went by, the numbers got fewer, and I was still there. And every day I looked down the line and more people went, these big guys were going, it gave me strength and it gave me belief. I thought, I can do this.
I kind of found enjoyment in seeing people fall off. I think a lot of people do, as in, not in a bad way, right? I didn't rub anyone's face in it. But when you're doing things that are difficult and you've got an easy option to get out, like you can literally VW and, you don't hand a number in. You literally VW and you can just walk off and pack your kit and go. And you'll be in a warm shower and bath and, whatever food you want. So it's easy to quit, which makes it, the majority of people do quit. I think when that happens, like you see their weakness and it puts you up a level, right? It puts you up a level of, puts your strength up a little bit.
I got confident and believed in myself, and every day was difficult, every day was different and hard, but I just thought, I can do this. And it went on and went on and went on, and the numbers got fewer and fewer and fewer, and I was still there. And it was hard, and every day I felt like throwing my hand in, but the thing that stopped me doing it was going back to the lifestyle and the way I was. I couldn't do it. There was only one way I was going to go back to that, is if they said to me, you have failed, you're out. Until they tell me that, I'm going to keep going. And it was hard work, and at the end of it, there was 7 of us originals left, and I was the champion recruit. I was actually the best recruit for that troop. They were all great guys, don't get me wrong, I just shone a little bit more than, and I think, to be fair, I had an advantage having been in cadets. I knew some of the basic skills, so that helped me along the way. But on the physical side of it, it was hard. It was really hard. I was up against big, hard people.
I kind of shocked myself getting through that, because I was never the fittest, like I was never the strongest, I was never at the front. Like, and we used to do these exercises where, it'd be a warm-up before we went on a tab, and the PTIs would, point to a tree and just say, right, everyone to that tree and back, last 10 go again. And I'd always be in that last 10. And then it'd be, right, go again, last 5 go again. And I'd always be in that last 5. But I kind of I had a bit of a theory around that. And I guess because I was never the fittest, never the strongest, but I've always completed stuff and always hung on. So I've always been used to being, in that fatigue state. Like, that's quite normal for me, which, as we all know, that builds resilience and that builds a stronger mind and body. Whereas the front runners, they were just used to, running at their normal pace and just being okay with that. So, when you deploy to places like the jungle or some of these harsher environments, like where everyone is on that level of fatigue, like for me, it was just normal. And you'd see some of the fittest people just fall over and, collapse with heat stroke, or, just not be able to carry on just because of the conditions.
One of the things the British military wasn't good at, I don't know if it is now, hopefully it is, was decompression. You go to a war conflict and the tempo is massive, as you can imagine. The work rate is massive. There is no finish line. You don't know when this is going to end because you don't know where it's going to go. You don't really know what's going to come around the next corner and what's going to confront you next. Like I say, you plan for everything, but be prepared for the unexpected, and you'll always get that. So you're kind of tuned into that, you tune into that theatre, that environment, and you get on with it.
The last 3 months of a tour was quite a kinetic, fast-moving. You know, we were going out on jobs most nights, and I'd come back from. So we literally did. Yeah, it was a busy time in that tour, and you know, we were going out on multiple jobs most nights, and to the point that when we did our handover consisted of just going out on the ground.
And then what we used to, you come home and you go straight back into supposedly normal life. Well, that's difficult when, you know, you may have lost people, or you may have seen this, or you may have seen that, and you've got this crazy aggressive mentality in your head, and you get home and then you haven't had time to decompress it and let it calm down and, okay, put that to bed now. You're straight into supposedly another life. We binge life. We binge this craziness straight into binge normality. What normality is being at home with a family or with your friends, and we don't get the time to, you know, filter that badness or the aggressive bit out and straight into it. So you go into it, you become a little bit aggressive, a little bit, don't see what the everyday problem in civilian street is when you've just had somebody who's got no house, no family, half the family missing. That's a real problem, not the fucking washing machine's broke, or the car's been stolen, or the kids had a fight at school. So it's, you're like, so what? That's kind of the mood swings and difficulties of coming from a high tempo, crazy world into a supposedly normal, and then back into that again.
You know, we did three jobs on the bounce, and then I remember coming back and jumped on a plane and flew back to the UK, and I was back in 24 hours on the train up to Preston to meet my then girlfriend. And I knew inside that like something wasn't right, and you know, you call it PTSD or whatever, but it was just like a feeling that I had inside that you'd just gone through this, you know, you'd just gone through a massive change in environment and emotion and what's been going on, and you've literally just, you know, 20 hours later, 24 hours later, you're in a completely different environment. It's a benign environment, there's no danger, and yeah, it was a weird feeling, and I just kind of had in my head that everything will be all right, and like probably took about 3 weeks for me to get back to normal. I didn't speak about it back then, I didn't tell anyone, but like I was arguing with my girlfriend at the time, like every night. I found drink had helped, which, you know, isn't the right answer, but it just numbed what I was feeling.
I think now, and I hope that, you know, when people come back from conflict and these places, they get that period of decompress, talk amongst yourselves first, get it out, chest poke each other before you get home, get things out off your plate, sort yourself out, get checked out, and then go home, because it's unfair. Because the people at home are, when you're in war and conflict, they're in war and conflict, worrying where the hell you are, what's going on, and you know, trying to keep the house together, the family together, your friends together. So that was difficult, I think, and that's why, you know, a lot of issues we're having today are happening, because people haven't had a chance to decompress and get shit off the chest. And it's always, for a soldier, you know, you always think about, if only I'd have stepped to the left, that could have happened. If only I'd have done this, if only I'd done that. Or I could look at it and go, well, Jordan, that was your fault. You should have told me to do that. Or get that off your plate before you go home, because that's on your plate, and you inevitably end up taking it out of your wife, your partner, you know, your aggression, and they're like, whoa, where did that come from? So that's the difference in terms of mentally managing and mood swings, and, you know.
Yeah, like I just had it in my head that I think the more time went on, the better I felt, which just confirmed that, you know, eventually this will pass and I'll be fine, which it did. And it's just a reaction that you have from going from one extreme to another, right? You go from fighting to, you know, being back in the arms of a loved one, you know, and she's telling you she loves you, and you've completely switched off all your emotions inside. It's a difficult place to be.